I think they both matter. So what happened was the first guy that I pushed on everybody in my local New Jersey malls where I had a reputation was Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas went on to become a fucking Hall of Famer. So the fact that Frank Thomas became an all-star in his rookie year and I made people buy it at $2 even though it was probably worth 50 cents, but then it was worth $8 mattered, right? So the answer is both. Up front, you can do anything. Up front, you can do anything. The problem is your reputation precedes itself, right? I would not be sitting here talking in front of you if I wasn't right historically about what I thought about Tumblr or Uber or writing the first check into Birchbox or all the other stuff that I said would happen that people said wouldn't happen. That's the only reason I have permission here, especially when you think about some, it's one thing if it's other marketing people and I can play that whole underbelly world, but not this dude. He would never let me sit here. So you have to have the chops, right? It's true, right? I mean, like for me, I'm always trying to win over people that I think are real substance because I understand how I come across like in the way I communicate. I understand that a lot of you don't know who I am, and my first question, curse-laden, bravado, and they're like, what is this guy about? It's like, I have a lot of self-awareness of how I am naturally, so I actually spend all my time on stake, because the sizzle's naturally there. And listen, salesmanship is a skill. Like, being able to be a social media agency in 2009, Campbell's and the NHL and all our early clients, they didn't have a Facebook or Twitter account when we walked in there. It literally weren't even on the platforms yet. And this was 2009, so for a lot of us it was like 2-3 years in. They weren't even there yet. That took salesmanship. That took me painting them a narrative of they poo-pooed SEO and SEM and e-commerce and banner retargeting and all this stuff that was happening then. I said, don't forget that 3 years ago you said this was stupid, it's all TV ads. So storytelling, salesmanship matters. Back to your question, I've seen a ton of great products die because they don't know how to sell. I promise you the 50 best movies and books that have ever been written, none of us even know of their existence. This notion that the best rises to the top is also a misnomer in the same way that you can PR it or sizzle it to death yet. It's a mix. It's always a mix. Everything in life is always some level of a mix. So I actually thought Frank Thomas was going to be great, and then I followed it up with Kenny Lofton, and then I had 2 in a row, and then I was wrong about Patrick Lemon, outfielder of Blue Jays. And then but you start having some sort of kind of, right? Like, I love talking about first check into Birchbox and Tumblr and all this other stuff. I don't tell you about my huge check, biggest one I ever wrote, to Yobongo. That was a loss. Now, it was a precursor to Tinder, so I was happy with like being historically right, but I'd much rather have invested in Tinder than Yobongo. So you're gonna have wins and losses, yeah. It's that.